where the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And our hot summer just keeps rolling along, and you know who's happiest? The power companies. That AC just keeps on running.
Yeah, AC is cranking. I don't think I've turned it off in quite a while, but I will say this. Today, or actually tomorrow, AC is going to be turned off.
Really?
Open up those windows.
Oh, my.
With some lower humidity. But first, outside this morning, as you wake up, we take a live look in Oneonta, where we have some pretty dense fog in parts of central New York, especially as you head up into parts of the North Country, too. But it's mainly southern valleys in North Country experiencing some of this dense fog early today. We look at the temperatures this morning in the mid-60s, 64 in Rome, 63 Hamilton with fog, 63 Ithaca, 64 in Saranac Lake with a rain shower. How about that? Look at the visibility right now. You can see pockets near 0 miles in Hamilton, Ithaca, 1 mile Watertown, 7 miles up in Saranac Lake. And it's interesting, this rain must be happening near the surface because, as you can see here, it's very little of any signature of rainfall here on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. So we're tracking a mainly dry day today. We still can't rule out an isolated downpour, but as we look ahead to the next few days, we have a dry Friday, but there are some changes to the weekend forecasts, maybe a little more unsettled for Saturday. We'll track all that and more coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A reminder,
Welcome back to Sunrise, everybody. Time now 5:11 on this Thursday morning, and today we're tracking a relatively dry day, but still chances for a few, maybe a couple isolated downpours. We'll track that here in a second. First, though, the main story as you head outside, it is foggy in parts of our area. Cooperstown, Oneonta, parts of the North Country near Old Forge, foggy this morning. We can see that visibility right here. A lot of the southern valleys, some pretty dense fog down there too. So if you head outside, just budget a few extra minutes in case you get caught in it to slow down before you head out to work today. Our traffic tracker is relatively green across the board, but again, the only slowdowns due to that fog this morning. So you head outside, it's a relatively quiet morning out there. Temperatures in the 60s. This afternoon, we're dodging a stray downpour or two as a secondary front passes over our area. This is going to drop the humidity tonight. Could be great weather for opening up those windows, but what we mentioned the past few days, a potentially dry weekend, or at least the start of the weekend, might turn a little more unsettled. We'll explain why coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It's crunch time for vendors.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today, it's shaping up rather quietly, but we're not out of the woods of the rainfall chances just yet. For some of you, it's good news that we still have some rain chances, but again, it's not that high. Downtown Utica, a live view outside. It's quiet here in the city for the most part. It's where the Mohawk River is, there's still some fog trying to form, but much of that dense fog still taking place in the southern valleys. 64 the temperature early today, slightly humid. Humidity is going to pick up a little bit over the next few hours before a secondary front late this morning, early this afternoon, whisks away a lot of that humidity. And so today's highs will be in the mid-80s. Watch these dew points, though, as we head throughout the day. We start out in the morning more humid than we'll be in the afternoon as again, that front passes over us and the rainfall chances peak in the middle of the day today. That's when that front arrives. And notice these rainfall chances, 16%, 11%, 13%. Not a high one. It's still there, but it's not considerable for a chance of seeing a downpour. So following the humidity today, it drops by tomorrow briefly. That humidity returns in full force Saturday, a lot higher than expected, and that's why what we originally thought to be a dry Saturday might actually favor a few downpours, maybe a couple thunderstorms, as that humidity really creeps its way back in again. So I'll show you exactly why right here. So here's that cold front that moves through, today. High pressure sets in tomorrow, but watch this area, this energy of rain showers right here begins to fire up a few showers Saturday afternoon right here. Again, it's not widespread, but there's still a rain chance. So we'll keep a close eye on that throughout the weekend. But here's a closer up view of how it shapes up the next few days. Patchy fog this morning turns to sunshine. Again, that front could fire up a stray downpour. Then by tonight, it's quiet, clear, lows in the 60s, some pockets of the area in the 50s and 40s. Then tomorrow, we're back into the 80s, lots of sunshine, a beautiful Friday on tap. After sunset, those of you in Otsego County might see a stray shower again overnight into early Saturday morning. And here we are for Saturday. Starts out mostly dry, but look at this. A chance of a passing downpour or thunderstorm in the afternoon. But the most of the day will favor plenty of dry weather. So when it comes to rainfall chances, or at least rainfall totals here, again, not gospel, but just showing you the differences in accumulations, and it's just varying depending on where you are. But some pockets could pick up a quick ½ inch to an inch of rain. So your 7-day forecast, it does look a little more unsettled than at least what we thought a few days ago. A chance of an isolated storm Saturday, better shot for showers and storms Sunday. And then we begin to cool down a little bit next week. 70s, Gary, the highs. No longer seeing a week straight of 80s and 90s. So maybe the season's changing here. Well, it's still August. Yeah. We're still in the summertime, though.
It's a little early.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks. The Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk Central New York. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. Get ready for another hot one today. Meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center. And Eric, we're not quite talking 90, right?
Yeah, nowhere near 90 today. It will still be warm, though, in the 80s. And we still are tracking a few downpours this afternoon. But a difference this morning, we've got some patchy fog, primarily those of you who saw thunderstorms and downpours yesterday. That's the locations where a lot of this fog is trying to form. Oneonta, one of those spots right there. We take a live look outside there this morning. And in fact, we look at the current conditions. It's foggy in Hamilton, Binghamton, and Ithaca, with Rome reporting clear skies right now. And fog up in parts of the North Country, too. Saranac Lake reporting some light rain showers. I assume it's light drizzle from that fog. There's really no forcing for any downpours right now. So interesting that there's rain showers up in the Adirondacks. But visibility with that fog, 0 miles in Hamilton, 0 Binghamton, 1 mile Glens Falls. Still near perfect visibility, though, in parts of Rome and Utica. But radar, again, dry next 12 hours, mainly sunny. Still tracking the potential for a downpour this afternoon as a secondary front passes over us. This will drop the humidity, bring in a pretty dry Friday, but there are some updates, some more unsettled changes to the weekend forecast. We'll track that and more coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump setting
News Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
A little foggy down there in Cooperstown this morning. Well, good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, our photo of the day takes us a little bit more to the north, though. Hinckley Reservoir in this photo right here, which is something that personally I would not do, but go right ahead if you're a fan of doing some gliding from what is it, the parachute gliding, it's parasailing, whatever you want to call it. You're up in the air with a parachute getting dragged by a boat, something that personally I would not do. I'd rather be on the boat itself, but what an amazing shot right here is someone sailing with the sunset right there in the background. So amazing photo right there. If you have a photo like this you'd like to share with us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Now today, the temperature starts out on the cooler side, at least compared to yesterday, in the mid-60s to low 60s. So still pretty comfortable, still dodging some of that fog this morning. But again, this afternoon, we're tracking a few downpours, and on top of that, this weekend might have a stray storm chance as well. We'll track all that and more in a few short minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. After rain delays,
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. It's a quiet start today with some patchy, dense fog, but we are tracking rain chances over the next several days. In fact, let's just do a quick synopsis of what's going on over the next few days here in the Mohawk Valley. So we take a look. We've got dry conditions this morning, isolated downpour in the afternoon. Tomorrow, it's beautiful, high of 84 degrees. And then as we head into the weekend, highs in the 80s, sunshine and clouds and a pop-up storm possible in the afternoon. So that's what we're tracking for the next few days. And yes, Saturday is looking a little more unsettled than previously expected. I'll explain why here in a second. Downtown Utica, quiet morning, temperature 64. Same thing at Grifferson Roma, also at 64 degrees. Humidity slowly on the rise today, at least in the morning hours. Because watch what happens here. Humidity higher in the morning, lower in the afternoon. Why? Well, a cold front passes over us. That's going to not really affect the temperature all that much, but yes, it's going to affect the humidity big time by tomorrow. Very comfortable levels for your Friday, but then it returns again in full force Saturday. And this rapid increase in humidity on Saturday is what's changing our forecast to have the potential for a few isolated downpours or thunderstorms on Saturday. So what gives? We look at the bigger picture here. That cold front moves through today. High pressure sets in for your Friday. Watch though. Look at this energy from this rain chance out west of us. It will fire up a few downpours around the area by Friday or Saturday afternoon, I should say. And there's potential for them to produce some decent rainfall too. Hopefully not during any outdoor events you have planned for this weekend. So today, straight downpour. Other than that, mainly dry weather, plenty of sunshine. Clear skies tonight, lows in the 60s and 50s. Tomorrow's looking beautiful for your Friday. Highs in the 80s, lots of sunshine. After sunset, those of you in Otsego County might see a downpour pass over you, especially in the Oneonta area. Then by Saturday morning, after a quiet start, it's a warmer start. Humidity returns a whole lot, and of course, that higher humidity comes a chance for a pop-up thunderstorm here and there. So, no, I can't rule out a shower for Saturday. A better shot for rain arrives on Sunday from another cold front, but at least we quickly look at the projected rainfall here. Again, don't look at the exact locations. Look at the totals that could be taking place. You can see some pockets picking up over half an inch, maybe an inch of rainfall. So it could be beneficial rain, especially on a Saturday, but for the most part, we want to make sure it's not impacting any plans you might have. Still, it's wedding season. It's even reunion season, too. A lot of outdoor events planned, so hopefully no raining on the parade. But still, overall, temperature is pretty warm for this time of year. Going to cool down a little bit below average by next week. So our first signs of some cooler weather on the way.
I don't mind the mid-80s.
Not too bad, Gary.
Eric, thanks. Well, a trip around the world.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And our high heat summer just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, despite the rain yesterday, despite a cold front coming in, we're still in the 80s this afternoon, Gary, so no sign of the heat letting up, at least for the short term. We take a look outside this morning, and, well, it's still a little foggy out there. A live view of Oneonta, where that fog is still rather thick in parts of the region. We look at the current conditions: 64 in Rome, 61 Hamilton, 63 up in Saranac Lake. But a lot of these locations here, see that very faint cloud icon? That's our indication of fog. And a lot of spots here reporting that fog, including Albany, Binghamton, and Watertown. The Mohawk Valley, though, not really that foggy here. But we look here at the visibility: 1 mile visibility in Hamilton, 0 in Binghamton and Ithaca, 3 miles in Glens Falls, 1 in Watertown. And I can't show right here, but just off screen, we have our Mesonet camera network, and a lot of them reporting that fog, especially in the southern valleys. So the radar is dry early today, and our next 12 hours favors plenty of sunshine, but still there's a chance for a passing downpour this afternoon. We'll track those chances, plus an update on the rainfall chances this weekend. Saturday might have a little more rain than not. Full forecast in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And a reminder, the town of...
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 6:11 on this Thursday morning. And as we head outside today or head out to work, you're going to be encountering some fog, especially those of you who live in the southern valleys. There's a live look outside. This is that fog trying to form in the Mohawk Valley. Foggy in Oneonta and in Cooperstown early today, and some pockets of the southern valleys in the southern tier at near 0 miles. Hudson Valley, look at that. Hudson Valley's got some fog too, near 0 miles heading down Poughkeepsie. But the Mohawk Valley still mostly fog-free at this hour. We look at the traffic tracker. It is dry and quiet for the most part this morning. No accidents to report of. But again, as you head outside today, just prepare to spend some extra time in case you get stuck in some dense fog. By this afternoon, a stray downpour. Remember yesterday I said it might be dry in the morning, but don't leave your windows open when you head into work. Same thing today. You could get a passing downpour, and then you don't want to have your seats wet. So we'll track that today, plus what we can expect for the weekend. It has changed the forecast a little bit. We'll have all that and more in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It is crunch time for
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Remember how I told you off camera I was looking at some cameras which are showing some of that fog, and if you look behind me a little bit, you can actually see that fog developing in mainly the southern valleys. But after the foggy start today, how is the rest of the day and the rest of the next few days shaping up? Here's a quick preview. So today, an isolated downpour in the afternoon from a passing secondary cold front. That first cold front pushed through yesterday. Then after that front, the humidity drops. It's going to be beautiful for your Friday, high of 86. Saturday, the humidity works its way back in again. Sun and clouds in the morning and early afternoon. And the key here, the update, a pop-up storm possible. And the reason why, increased humidity and an approaching system from the west that was not there to track a few days ago. Downtown Utica, live view, 64 degrees, quiet start. Still some fog developing on the backside of this camera here, closer to the Mohawk River. But for the most part, that fog is not as widespread as, say, down south in the southern valleys. Cloudy with 64 degrees in Rome. Temperatures today climbing into the mid-80s despite a cold front arriving. So it's not going to change the temperature, but it's going to change that humidity. You can see that drop from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., going from the near very humid levels down to, say, just slightly muggy. And following that, it drops even further tonight to a comfy level tomorrow. But humidity a lot on the higher side for your Saturday, and that's going to influence some of those downpours. So that cold front moves through, high pressure sets in Friday, and then watch this rainfall begin to move in heading into the weekend. So this is Saturday. Notice again, not widespread rain, scattered to isolated thunderstorms, if that. Like what we saw yesterday, hit or miss storms, maybe lasting a few minutes, if that. So today, mainly dry, a stray downpour possible. Other than that, it's quiet tonight, lows in the 60s and 50s. Tomorrow, it's going to be a beautiful day. Highs in the 80s, lots of sunshine, gorgeous outdoor weather. Heads up for those of you in the southern valleys, tomorrow night, there's a chance of a passing shower, heavier rain shower in Otsego County. Then by tomorrow morning, or I should say Saturday morning, it's a dry start, but then you have these few scattered, isolated thunderstorms passing over us. So that's what we're tracking. It's not widespread, but the chance still is there, and I want to make sure you're not caught off guard if you have any outdoor plans this weekend. So when it comes to rainfall, some of these pockets of storms could produce between a half an inch to an inch of rain, but for the most part, a lot of the area remains entirely dry. We're in the 80s today and tomorrow, and for much of the weekend. Then we'll see a slight cool down next week. Highs in the 70s, no longer 80s and 90s, Gary. So quite a difference. And who thought that, 2 months ago we'd say 70s, upper 70s was a cool down with how cool it was, but here we are. It's been quite a warm summer.
It's been one hot summer for sure. Eric, thanks. The Tunnel to Towers 5K. Good morning once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. And our hot summer just keeps rolling along. Meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center. And Eric, at least it's not going to hit 90 today.
Yeah, no longer 90s today, but it's still going to be the 80s. It's going to be a very warm afternoon, still a little humid out there. In fact, with that humidity, with that rainfall yesterday, some of us experiencing some fog. We can see some of these cameras right here. Lawrence, Morrisville, Sherburne, even parts of Springfield. Let's see, maybe go up to most of the other spots of central New York relatively fog-free. Oppenheim seeing some blue skies today. But we look across the state, a lot of locations reporting some fog. Ithaca, Binghamton, Hamilton, Watertown lifting some of that fog, but the Hudson Valley and the Capital Region all reporting fog this morning. So you can see some of the visibility today very low. Some pockets, 0-mile visibility, especially in Hamilton this morning. So again, if you head out to work today, especially in the southern valleys, budget some extra time to encounter some of that fog. The radar this morning, despite the fog, is dry to start, and we are expecting a mostly dry day today. You can see plenty of sunshine icons here and temperatures in the mid-80s, but there's potential for a stray downpour as a secondary cold front passes through today. That could fire up a downpour, but most importantly, it's going to reduce that humidity on what will be a very beautiful Friday. So will this dry stretch last, or will there be some changes in the forecast? Will there be some rain possibly on Saturday? We'll have the details on all that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump setting...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Got some fog out there this morning. Good morning, everybody, on this Thursday. Today, it's a quieter start, aside from that fog, obviously, but this afternoon we could be dodging a stray downpour. We'll talk about that in a second, though, but away from the forecast, let's showcase our photo of the day today. And this is a great submission right here. Gliding into sunset, taken at Hinckley Reservoir. Look at this shot right here. And I will say, the guy you see right there gliding in the sky is a guy that would not be me. I would never do that in my life. I don't mind heights, but just gliding that high up in the sky. It looks fun, but just not for me. I'll be the guy driving the boat. So just an interesting photo right here. And in fact, there's a great shot of that glider right in front of the sunset out in the distance. So amazing photo sent in anonymously. If you have a photo like this you'd like to share with us, send it to the link right there in the top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics for the chance to be photo featured right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise every weekday morning. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Happening today, we will have some high school...
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Today, a quiet start, still tracking some fog this morning, but we have a chance of a passing downpour this afternoon. Matter of fact, let's just do a quick recap, or I should say preview of the next few days. First off, today, it's going to be a quiet morning, then an isolated downpour in the afternoon, high of 85, so we're still not done with that summertime warmth just yet. Tomorrow, it's beautiful, lower humidity, sunshine. You got a great Friday on tap if you have any plans outdoors. Saturday is where things are going to start to change, and this is the latest forecast update right here. So sun and clouds throughout the day. A pop-up storm can't be ruled out. So if you have any outdoor plans Saturday, just to make sure you're weather aware for a passing thunderstorm. A live view of downtown Utica early this morning. It is a quiet start with even some blue skies. Other pockets in New York State with some patchy fog. 64 degrees at Griffiths and Rome, and we warm up quickly today into the mid-80s, despite the fact a cold front moves through. It's not a very strong one, but what it's going to do, not only affect the temperature, but it's going to affect the humidity. Look at this dew point value going from the upper 60s early today into the low 60s by 6 p.m. So you're going to notice the morning feeling a lot more humid than the afternoon. Then by tomorrow, humidity drops even more. It's a beautiful Friday. Then the update to Saturday, the humidity is a lot higher than expected. So when you have those tropical levels of humidity, any minor disturbance in the atmosphere has a higher chance of producing a thunderstorm than on a day like, say, Friday. So we look right here in the bigger picture, and we can see this system. It's actually way out here in Minnesota. This is our weather system for Saturday. But before that, we've got this cold front pushing through today and high pressure for your Friday. Let's fast forward here. So this cold front exits, high pressure for Friday, and then look at that rainfall moving in. It fires up just enough of a weak disturbance in the atmosphere to produce a few scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. So on our Skycast today, quiet start. That cold front fires up a few downpours over our area. It's not a whole lot, but there's a chance here and there. Then by tonight, it's quiet, lows in the 60s and 50s, pockets of the Adirondacks in the 40s like Old Forge. Then tomorrow, we're in the 70s and 80s by around noontime, mid-80s by the afternoon, beautiful outdoor weather. By the overnight hours, if you live in Otsego County, you could see a passing downpour south of Route 20. And then by Saturday, quiet morning, warm start. Here comes those passing downpours and thunderstorms. They're really just random, really no rhyme to reason for the exact timing of formation. So just to make sure you're weather aware Saturday. There's a better shot for organized storms on Sunday. We'll time those out with our latest data coming in tomorrow. But still, the temperatures remain pretty warm until Monday through Wednesday next week, where our highs will be in the 70s for the first time in quite a while. Seems as if we had so much of this heat and not enough cool down. Now we're going to see a slight cool down, which looks to be pretty pleasant for this time of year.
A lot of folks looking forward to keeping those windows open next week.
Yes, open the windows.
Eric, thanks. Well, now to a trip
With Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Several former state corrections officers charged in the beating deaths of two. Let's switch gears to something much nicer. We're talking about the weather and another nice day.
Yeah, another nice day. Lots of sunshine. Humidity also dropping, too. The only thing we're tracking is maybe a couple stray downpours, but they won't last too long. Let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. 84 in Rome. That heat still kicking in right now, but that cold front's actually moving over us at this hour. We can actually see that front firing up a downpour. Now, there's a lot of interference here. It's still a little bit humid out there, but we'll see this radar quiet down a little bit over the next couple of hours following these downpours. The northwestern portion of Medina County has that first one firing up. And we could see a couple of them, again, only lasting a few minutes here and there as we progress throughout the mid to late afternoon. You can see the temperatures today peaking in the mid-80s, humidity again dropping this afternoon and tonight. We're going to track what we can expect for your Friday plus this weekend. I know it originally looked a little bit on the sunnier side, but there's a chance of a few downpours Saturday as well as on Sunday. We'll track those, the timing of it all and more straight ahead. Gary?
Yeah, don't feel bad. They are needed.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Lots of sunshine out there today, and the heat's slowly starting to return a little bit, but the only difference is that humidity is going to drop slowly throughout this afternoon. 77 outside in Cooperstown, so in the southern valleys, not nearly as hot as the Mohawk Valley right now, but we are tracking that front, and it is firing up one isolated downpour right now. There could be more that fire up over the next couple of hours. Let's focus on this exact one right here. So it just passed through Florence. It's heading into the downtown area of Camden in the next, I would say, 5 or so minutes. So Camden, just outside of Ansville, and then farther down Lee. We'll see if it still survives as it passes more south, but still, we're tracking that over the next 15, 20 minutes. Today's highs, as you can see here, climbing into the mid-80s, and that's really about as warm as it gets today. The humidity higher this morning. Look at this. This afternoon, it's going to slowly drop following that cold front. So we go from higher humidity down to lower humidity by tomorrow. You can see that comfy level approaching by Friday. And then the difference maker is what's taking place on Saturday. There's higher humidity expected, which means that there's a higher chance for a stray thunderstorm or two in the afternoon. So we mentioned earlier on that Saturday would be sunny and dry, but not quite the case now. I guess depending on whether you want more rain or not. I mean, it is a weekend day, but we do need the rain, so I guess it's plus or minuses with it. But either way, it's dry tomorrow, and then here comes those thunderstorms Saturday. That's influenced by this approaching front, basically like a ripple in the atmosphere. But the better chance for rain will be on Sunday. This is the system approaching from the west. So let's zoom in here on our Skycast. Today, mainly quiet. Then that front comes through. Watch those storms begin to fire up, or at least downpours for the most part. I'm not thinking there's a lot of lightning with this. Then by tonight, it's quiet, it's clear. Lows fall into the 60s and 50s. In fact, with the lower humidity, maybe leave your windows open. Let in some fresh air. Tomorrow, it's a beautiful day. Starting out in the 70s and 80s by the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine by 6, at least after sunset, I should say. Those of you in the southern valleys, mainly Otsego County, heads up, there could be a passing downpour as the system begins to fire up south of us. And then Saturday, humidity on the rise, and then there comes that ripple in the atmosphere. Here comes the few scattered thunderstorms over the region. They won't last long, but just make sure you're weather aware. If you have any outdoor plans Saturday, that you might have to keep an umbrella handy, or maybe head inside quick if there's some rumbles of thunder. 7-day forecast, you see those rain chances increase by Sunday, lingering showers Monday. But following that, highs will be in the upper 70s. A bit of a cool down. Can you believe that, Gary? Upper 70s considered a cool down, but still it's looking abnormally dry. We'll have an update on the latest drought conditions across the state coming up in a few minutes.
Eric, thanks. Talks between Hamas and meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, on this graph, it looks a little like a duck, duck, goose here.
Yeah, a little bit of a duck, and thank you for pointing it out, because I was looking at the map here. You got to zoom out a little bit. Eventually you can see the outline just right here, a little duck head. Yeah, let's take a look at the map here. This is the drought monitor map, but unintentionally looks like a duck outline. But either way, much of the state is in the abnormally dry category. Now, of course, it's not going to be 100% accurate. Obviously, I have driven by all these locations, especially in the southern valleys. You guys are extremely dry, parts of even the Mohawk Valley, some pockets up north. But over the next week or so, when they update this again, I do think if with any lack of serious rainfall, this is going to get more widespread, with potential for us to hit the moderate category for drought, which is officially out in western New York right now. So, radar, or at least the current conditions, mainly warm right now. The radar picking up on a couple of those downpours. Again, they're just starting to fire up at this hour. One actually just passing through Camden. Is raining in Camden right now. And we'll continue to track those downpours over the next few hours. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s. Now, although there could be a few downpours today, the main thing this front's going to do is drop that humidity big time for tomorrow. It'll be a beautiful Friday on tap, but will it be the same for the weekend? Details on that straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Newly released police.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, sun is shining, but there are a few pop-up storms we're tracking. Here's a live look from the MVCC campus in Rome right now. Temperature 82, and I want to look at what's going on in the sky in the background. If you can see it right here, you got some of those clouds firing up. These are the clouds along that cold front. And for most of these clouds, they're just popping up, and that's that. But a couple of them are firing up, tapping into the instability and producing a pop-up downpour, as you can see right here. This is passing right through Camden. In fact, now it's entering parts of Ansville, approaching Lee, right along the parallel roads of Route 13 and Route 69 up in northwestern Netta County. There's also another one out here just outside of Herkimer County, entering Fulton County, just outside of Arietta, heading toward Caroga over there too. So some of these hit or miss, they're not widespread, but you could get a good soaker briefly here in this afternoon. Temperatures peaking in the 80s today, but I think the main difference are the changes in humidity. We go from a higher humidity this morning down to lower levels tonight, and it's going to be a very pleasant day tomorrow humidity-wise. Comfy levels Friday, but the change in our forecast is what's happening on Saturday. There's a lot more humidity in the atmosphere, which means that this approaching wave ahead of a cold front has a bit more moisture to work with, and in that case could produce a few more thunderstorms. We were always expecting rain showers on Sunday, but the update produces some storms on Saturday. So we can actually see what's going on the bigger picture right now. That cold front passing over us, high pressure bringing nice weather Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, there's that system approaching. Now watch what happens. High pressure Friday, then that approaching system kicks up a wave of energy, enough to produce some scattered thunderstorms Saturday, but of course you can see here the biggest chance for rain is going to be on Sunday. So today it's dry. Watch that front pass over us. Again, those storms begin to fire up, mainly in the higher elevations. By tonight, things quiet down. Lows fall into the 60s and 50s. And then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, beautiful weather. Highs in the mid to low 80s. Heads up for those of you in Otsego County. Tomorrow night, there could be a stray shower. Other than that, a mostly dry day and mostly dry overnight. Then Saturday, here's where those chances begin to move in. It's mostly dry. You could encounter maybe a 15-20 minute shower or downpour thunderstorm, and then as quickly as it arrives, it fades away and you're back to sunshine again. So it's not a steady, consistent rainfall, but just if you have any plans tomorrow, make sure you have plans to head indoors if you can briefly in case there's any thunder or lightning. But either way, our better shot for storms takes place Sunday. Then Monday and Tuesday next week, it cools down a little bit into the 70s with still chances for storms. And these are more of the hit or miss type, not the steady, consistent rain I think a lot of us desperately need. A lot of the lawns look very crispy, Gary.
I think pretty soon we're going to see a lot of rain. Watch.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Well,
with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis, it is still dry out there.
Still dry, yeah, and it's going to get drier. We've got a big drop in the humidity. It's going to be pretty comfortable here over the next couple of days. We're looking at quiet conditions. We did have a very brief shower this afternoon, but things are looking quiet, and we're expecting the weather to remain sunny this evening. 83 degrees, the dew point is down to 57, so it's feeling a lot more comfortable. That also means it's going to cool off tonight. In fact, you should be able to give the air conditioner a break tonight as temperatures drop into the 50s. Sunshine returns tomorrow. Next chance of rain looks to be over the weekend, especially Sunday as another cold front moves in. This evening, pleasant temperatures in the upper 70s. Again, I'm tracking a nice start to the weekend. Look at the forecast that's coming up. Kristen, back to you.
National grid rates are going.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Turned out to be a beautiful day today. It's a lot less humid compared to yesterday. Live look at downtown Utica, lots of sunshine, 83 degrees. For a little while, it looked a little ominous out there as a secondary cold front rolled through. Did have a couple of showers too, but they were pretty few and far between. Speaking of rainfall, it has been a dry summer. We have not had very much rainfall since July 1st, only a little over 2.5 inches at Griffis and Rome. Compare that to average, it's usually about 5 3/4 of an inch, which means we're running a departure of 3 inches. So again, less than half of what we typically see during this time. In addition to that, it's also been a hot summer, and those combined stats here means it's been exceptionally dry. This is not considered a drought. Droughts are when things get really, really dry, but we are in that direction here for sure. The water levels are low. We're starting to see some issues here. A lot of dry lawns, and again, this kind of weather, we definitely need a change here because this is far, far from typical. Unfortunately, no rain, anything significant in the near future locally. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Plenty of sunshine. Reminder, you can always get weather information on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. We've got low levels of humidity in store tonight, tomorrow. It's going to feel very comfortable. The humidity is up a bit Saturday. Sunday we'll be dealing with some humidity, but for the most part, we're going to get into a weather pattern that features less humidity over the next several days. One isolated shower was right through Oneida County this afternoon. That has fallen apart, all part of a secondary cold front rolling through. We're going to see some very comfortable weather here heading into tonight. While we're watching a quiet weather pattern in central New York, we're also keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Erin. It's expected to become not only a hurricane, but a major hurricane out in the Atlantic. But all signs point to this storm moving out to sea. A cold front that rolls through locally is going to push Erin out to sea and prevent it from affecting our local weather. Temperatures are warm this evening, still in the mid-80s, but we do cool off tonight. We're expecting overnight lows to drop down into the 50s. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, beautiful afternoon. Temperatures climb into the low 80s. The weather remains dry tomorrow night. There could be an isolated shower as we head into Saturday. High temperatures climb into the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, clear, low of 58. We give the air conditioner a break. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 86 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weekend looking pretty nice for the most part. Could see an isolated shower Saturday. Better chance of a few thunderstorms Sunday, 84. And then, Kristen, we're in a very comfortable weather pattern next week. Temperatures in the 70s.
Wow, okay, that's quite different.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, thank you. Hey, the boat launch on Hinckley Reservoir, by the way, it's going to close on Tuesday because the water level is so low, and that's making the conditions unsafe for boat launching. Of course, if there's significant rain, will there be?
Not looking anything significant, yeah.
Well, if we do get something, the Power Authority will reopen the boat launch. October 1st is usually when it closes. But if you're interested, and I know you do this, the canoe and the kayak launch, that's going to stay open.
Okay.
So that's that. Meantime, time for a first look at the forecast in this half hour with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Well, for those of you that garden, I know it's been a very dry summer, and you're going to continue to need to water the garden over the next couple of days. You might have enough rain on Sunday where you may not need it. Probably will need to water it in the morning, though. It's just been a tough weather pattern for the lawn. Very dry conditions across central New York. We're going to continue to see some very pleasant weather this evening. Temperatures will drop into the 50s tonight. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Warm for the next couple of days. It does turn more humid heading into the weekend. Some cooler weather in sight Monday and Tuesday of next week. Nice weather to take the dog out for a walk this evening. Sunshine, pleasant. Temperatures in the 80s. Tonight's featured dog, Leo, from Rome. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. That's where you can leave your dog pictures. This is brought to you by Nissan. Kristen, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. Parts of Middleville are under a boil water order. If you live on North Main Street or Hike Avenue, you have to boil your water before you use it, and that will be in place until further notice. Village crews made repairs to a water line today, and about
Under the lights in prime time. NASCAR from Daytona on NBC and Peacock.
We grew up an NBC family. At the age of
now on W. 315-853-5444.
on News Channel 2 at 6, the Thrilla at Unadilla. We'll get an update on what's happening this weekend, that if you've never been before, you have to make it.
Port explosion. More than 200 were killed, several thousand injured. As this year's hurricane season enters its peak, those in areas prone to storm impacts are already planning ahead. But it's not just residents getting ready. Some insects like bees know how.
And the water's back up. The New York Power Authority will reopen the boat launch. It's usually closed October 1st. The canoe and kayak launch will remain open. And to talk more about the rain, parts of Herkimer County are in is that abnormally dry?
Yeah, so the Climate Prediction Center, NOAA, comes out with these charts here. You know, if I were to draw this, there'd be a lot more yellow. Yeah. There would be a lot more yellow. We are way behind on rainfall, but we're starting to see the impacts here with the low water levels. People's wells are starting to dry up, and if we keep going in this direction, it could get serious in a hurry. So it's something we're going to continue to monitor very closely over the next couple of weeks. We really do need the rain. Unfortunately, I don't see anything significant, anything that's going to significantly reduce this problem anytime soon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar is dry. It's turning less humid tonight. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable. 70 degrees is the current temperature. Dew point's down to 57. We do have some dry air on the way, and that's going to mean some comfortable sleeping conditions tonight. In fact, you can turn off the air conditioner going to bed and open up the windows. We're looking at overnight lows in the 50s. A nice day tomorrow, but it does warm up and it does turn more humid heading into the weekend. I've got to look at the forecast coming up. Ben, back over to you.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. When a person...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It's cooling off. Clear skies in place, temperature of 70 degrees. We've got dry weather here for the next couple of days, and I want to just touch upon the stats. We've had a dry summer. Since July 1st, Griffis and Rome has only recorded a little over 2.5 inches of rain. For this date, the average between July 1st and today is just under 6 inches. So we are running a rainfall deficit of over 3 inches. That is significant. And you combine this with hot weather, with all the days we've been in the 90s this summer, and it's been leading to very dry conditions across central New York. And again, we do need the rain. Unfortunately, we are not expecting rain in the near future here. It looks like our next chance will be either Saturday afternoon or more likely Sunday. You might have noticed a little bit of haze in the air today. We have some very light Canadian wildfire smoke across the Northeast. This smoke is going to, for the most part, dwindle. There won't be enough to cause any air quality issues, but you might notice a beautiful sunrise and a nice sunset here tomorrow. Looking at dry conditions on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. And a reminder, you can always get weather information on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Winds are coming in from the north in the wake of a cold front, and the stage is set for some very pleasant weather. We have almost Hurricane Erin. It's still a tropical system, but winds are 70 miles an hour, so it's just below hurricane status. It's going to become not only a hurricane, but a major hurricane as we head into the weekend, and the path from the National Hurricane Center does turn this to the north heading into Tuesday, but it is something that we'll continue to keep an eye on. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 50s. Comfortable night. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Beautiful day. Temperatures climb into the 80s. Tomorrow night, the weather looks pretty quiet. On Saturday, we could see a very brief disturbance roll through, and that could bring a passing shower. Temperatures climb into the mid-80s. Tonight, clear skies, low of 58. Tomorrow, sunshine, beautiful afternoon, 86 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Isolated storm Saturday, better chance Sunday, 84. The storms, for the most part, will be hit or miss over the next couple of days. We need just that slow, soaking rain. Not seeing that anytime soon, unfortunately.
We need it. We need it. I mean, I couldn't believe that pond out behind Sangertown Square, how low it is. It's almost completely empty.
Lots of low water levels,
Unbelievable.
Dry grass, burnt lawns. Yeah.
No kidding. All right. Thank you very much, Bill. Lack thereof, Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. A lot of the area abnormally dry. Only local area, central Herkimer County, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, this National Weather Service comes up with these maps. So this is the newest one that was issued today. They're updated every week. I would see a lot more yellow here. Pretty much the whole area under a pretty significant rainfall departure. We'll take a look at the stats in just a bit. But what we're really needing is a good soaking rain, and unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Clear skies, it's cooling off, 68 degrees. There's a lot less humidity out there. Dew point's 56, and that means we're going to cool off tonight. Overnight lows are expected to drop into the upper 50s. You can give the air conditioner a break, something we haven't been able to do much of this hot summer that we've had so far. We are tracking some nice weather heading into the weekend, and any rain chances ahead. We'll take a closer look coming up. Ben, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. When a person's heart...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Pretty nice night out there. We're down to 68 degrees. It's getting a lot more comfortable. You can turn off the air conditioner going to bed tonight and open up the windows, cool things off. Let's talk about the rainfall stats. Mentioned how we were abnormally dry. Well, how dry are we? Looking at the stats from Griffiths and Rome, we've had about 2.5 inches of rain since July 1st. What is typical for this time period is closer to 6 inches. We're running a rainfall departure of over 3 inches. In addition to being extremely dry, only getting about half as much rain, we've had a lot of hot weather. Many days in the 90s so far this summer. We've had 10, and that doesn't help. That's leading to very low water levels, dry lawns, and if this continues, it's not going to be good. I think we're going to have more issues across central New York. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any soaking rain in the near future. It doesn't look like we'll have a chance of rain on Sunday, but I don't think it's going to be enough to change things dramatically. You might have noticed a nice sunset tonight. We do have a very light amount of Canadian wildfire smoke in the air. It's not going to change all that much tomorrow. It looks like the smoke will be on the light side, and it's not going to be enough to cause any air pollution or any problems, even for those of you that are sensitive to this. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, things look quiet across the region. Reminder, you can always get weather information to your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Winds are now coming in from the north in the wake of a cold front, and it's bringing in cool, dry air from the north, and it's going to set the stage for a lovely weather pattern. It's dry. We do need the rain, but the weather will be nice here for the next couple of days. Tropical Storm Erin has not become a hurricane yet, but it's really close. 70-mile-an-hour winds. To become a hurricane, it's got to be up to 75. It is expected to become a hurricane tonight, and then a major hurricane as we head into the next couple of days. Turning to the north, we'll keep an eye on it. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight. Overnight lows drop down into the 50s, a comfortable night. Beautiful day tomorrow, lots of sunshine. High temperatures climb into the low 80s. Tomorrow night, overnight lows drop into the low 60s. Could see a few scattered showers here on Saturday. It's not expected to be much rainfall here. Shouldn't cause any problems with any outdoor plans. Temperatures climb into the 80s. And it does turn more humid heading into the weekend. Clear tonight, low 58. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 86. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecasts. A few scattered showers and storms here Saturday, Sunday. Better chance Sunday compared to Saturday. Monday, 78. It's cooler, a lot more comfortable as we head into next week.
But moral of the story, we need rain. Yeah, we need rain.
Fortunately, not really much opportunities here.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill. Coming up next, take a look back.